Hello, you've reached Jimmy Eccles. Can't come to my phone right now, but if you would leave me a message, I'll call you back. Thanks.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey Jimmy, this is Derek. Giving you a call back here. I don't know if you recall, but a few weeks back, we've been going back and forth about your properties over in the Richmond-Rosenberg area. I had a chance to speak with my partner about the terms and the cash offer, the asking price there for the 6 properties, the 6 rentals. So just wanted to round back with you and discuss when you had a chance. This is my new number. I believe you were actually the first and last person to tell me that my number was popping up, spam likely or something like that. So this is my new number, my direct line. Feel free to give me a call here. You can also text me at the number that we've been texting at as well, if you'd like. If you want to keep it to text, that's perfectly fine with me as well. So like to hear back from you. Hopefully we can make something happen on these 6 properties here. Talk soon. Want to give him a call back, to be honest. Stephanie, happy wholesaling in 2022. Same to you. Just had a feeling like I wanted to give this guy a call, to be quite honest. No real reasoning behind it. I told him that I'd round back with him after the holidays and just have been thinking about this guy and these properties. So wanted to round back. Called him there. I mentioned the number because the last time I called him from my Google Voice number, he said it popped up as spam. And ever since then, I've implemented the whole Sideline app, which has it's kind of like a dummy number that you can call off of with a local area code. So that's the one I just called him off of. I think that's the first time I've called him off that number, which is probably why he didn't answer. Me and him have talked before on the phone, and he let me know that he gets a bunch of texts and calls about these properties all the time. So, and that it was pretty rare that he, entertained conversations with people. But that's why I'm assuming he has not, or he didn't answer that phone call, and why I also referenced the fact that he could text me at the number we've been texting at. So I want to just follow up through text right now and let him know that I did give him a call and that was me. I want to kind of just revisit this conversation. I reran the numbers on this. He has 6 properties. He is looking for one of 2 things. This is his proposals. I had offered him 550 to 575 for the package of the 6 properties. He was quick to let me know that that wasn't going to happen, but he continued the conversation. He wasn't like upset about it. He's like, no, it's not going to happen. He kind of knew that I was just kind of throwing out an anchor price, I feel like. And then I said, okay, let's take some time. This was right before the Christmas, I believe, or somewhere around there. Take some time. Why don't we take the weekend? You think about, because then I asked, like, what is it going to take to get it done for a cash offer for all 6 properties? Excuse me. And he was like, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it or taken a look at the market or anything like that. Right. So it was kind of premature to have the conversation, or at least he was making it out to be premature, although he probably had a number in mind. But anyways, I was like, all right, let's take the weekend. You figure out what your bottom dollar is for a cash offer, what I'm going to need to come up to in order to get it done. And then he had also proposed seller financing because he's not really desperate. He's just wanting to liquidate. He's wanting to get out of single family rentals. So I had contacted him about one of his rentals, and he was like, yeah, if I'm going to sell that one, I'm going to sell all 6 of them. So then we started talking about all 6 of them. And the reason was, again, just that if I'm going to get out of single family rentals, I'm going to get out completely. He has multifamily, he has commercial properties, so he's not really desperate or motivated, so to speak. But he does want to sell, and he's talking reasonable numbers. They're just a little bit, closer to market value. That makes it kind of tight and thin margins for me as a wholesaler. 6 properties. Yes, you have to stay consistent with this guy. Ever thought of finding a hedge fund to buy the properties? Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of just, yeah. All these thoughts are going through my head, which is why I've had this feeling that I just need to call this guy. I think that I just need to get it under contract, and stop kind of, I just want to stick to the process. I want to make the offers, get the contract if I can, and then figure out dispo after the fact. I have cash buyers that could probably take these properties down, that would like to take these properties down. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna, go through the process of finding the buyer first, because for all I know, this guy maybe doesn't even really want to sell. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna assume anything, or I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So the way that he proposed it, again, I offered 550 to 575. He declined. When I rounded back, I said, "Hey, wanted to round back and see if you've given any more thought to selling your portfolio there. I know last time you talked, you weren't necessarily interested in a cash offer, but you mentioned you may be open to seller financing." Again, just to finish my thought there, he's the one who proposed seller financing because he was like, "It doesn't really matter to me whether or not you pay cash," because I was offering that, as the typical wholesaler, we can pay cash, and he's like, "It doesn't really matter to me if you pay cash. Like, you can go get a loan if you want. I'm not desperate for money right now." So, you know, and I asked his timeline, like, "Okay, well, how quickly would you want to get it done?" He's like, "I mean, again, it doesn't really matter to me. I obviously just wouldn't want it to drag out once we get an agreement in place. I wouldn't want to have it extended over the course of months." And it's like, okay, I understand that too. Uh, So yeah, he's like, "You can go get a loan. I don't care." That's why he proposed the seller financing. So when I rounded back, he said, "This is what he needs." He says, "I need to net 700,000." Um, and that's a response to me asking, "What is your bottom dollar for a cash offer, and what are you looking for in terms of terms for seller financing, if that's the route you want to take?" So he said, "I need to net 700,000," meaning that he owns all the properties free and clear. So he's essentially saying that for a cash offer, he would take 700,000. I would consider seller financing with a down payment of 50,000, which is like 8,300 per property, and I carry 650,000 at 8% interest only payments for 36 months and a 36-month term. When he first said this to me, I was like really confused because I was looking at this like, why? I thought he made a typo when he said a 36-month term. I thought he meant 360-month term, meaning that the loan was going to be amortized over 30 years, 360 months, as opposed to 3 years, 36 months. So I said, "Okay, just to clarify, did you mean a 360-month term?" He said, "No, 3 years." So then I kind of like stood back and I was like, "Okay, I'm going to bring this to my partner. We'll discuss and reach back out with our thoughts. It'll likely be after the holiday season. So if I don't speak before then, have a happy holidays." And he said, "Understood," and likewise. So that kind of bought me some time. And now I realize what it is that he's proposing. He's proposing a short-term, high-interest loan, comparable to a hard money loan. Hard money lender who's going to give you these type of terms. Yeah, you would still have to walk all properties to check the conditions. Yeah, so I have a general idea, Stefan. Uh, you know, some of these properties were purchased as is within 5-6 years, and he's done a lot of work. So I kind of dug very surface level just to figure out what bucket it's going to fall in. Light rehab, average rehab, heavy rehab. He says that all of them have gotten a new roof within the last 10 years, and all of them do have central AC. So I don't know if all of them need to have their central AC swapped out, but I would imagine probably not. But all of them do have new roofs, and he said two of them did have foundation issues, but they have since been resolved. He went in there and he fixed the foundation issues. So that information alone, I know, kind of drops me out of the heavy rehab estimate, right? All of them are rentals. All of them are occupied. Um, about four of them, I think, are on a month-to-month lease. Two of them are on still within their first year lease, their annual lease. But he says he doesn't have an issue with delivering all of them vacant. So what I did is I estimated anything under 1,500 square feet. I'm estimating at 25,000 rehab, and anything over 1,500, which is just one property, I'm estimating at 30,000 rehab. Um, and so that is pretty conservative, but the way that he's talking, doesn't really sound like it's going to be an issue to him one way or another. It's obviously something that would have to come up in conversation when we do agree to something. I'm going to have to put it in an inspection period. I'm going to want to walk the properties just to be sure that there's no serious damage. But by the sounds of it, it sounds like you've taken good care of the properties. So I don't think there's going to be any issue there. But just to protect the investment, we do want to get a chance to, get some eyes on the property after we get the agreement in place. Don't think that'll be an issue. So the way that I've ran comps on all the properties, we hear what's going on. Ran comps on all the properties. Again, anything under 1,500 square feet, I estimated a $25,000 rehab, which is like slightly under average in my opinion, right around average. And anything over 1,500, I did 30,000, which is like, and the only reason I did 30 is because that is his best property. The one that's over 1,500 square feet, that's the one that has the highest ARV. It seems to be in the best condition based on Google Maps. He said that that is personally his favorite rental. It's the best tenants. They take the best care of the property. So that one being over 1,500 square feet, but it being the best one, I don't think that it's going to require a lot of repair. It looks to be on Google Maps the best, just on its face, the best physical condition as well. So with all that, I just kind of recalculated the numbers. I was being very overly conservative when I first threw out that 550 to 575 offer to him a few weeks ago. Um, but now with this new estimate, me taking a haircut on my assignment fee as well. When I threw out that 575, that was me getting like a $90,000 assignment fee. I think I factored in like five to $10,000 more. No, I factored in like ten to $20,000 more per rehab per property, and I was taking $20,000 or $15,000 per assignment fee per property. To use the per square feet calculation for repair estimate, no, I'm just throwing out. I have like a little cheat sheet, under 1,500, light, medium, heavy, 15, 30, 50, 15 to 2,500 square feet, 20, 40, 80, light, medium, heavy, rehab. Anything over 2,500, 30, 50, 100. That's kind of what I'm looking at, give or take. I'll like if it needs carpet paint and like one of the bathrooms are done, I'll add like, five to $10,000 on top of the light rehab. Or, if it's a heavy rehab, but it has a new AC and a new roof, but it's still gonna need the kitchen redone, the bathrooms redone, the carpet and paint, and maybe a little bit of foundation. I'll maybe discount the full heavy rehab $5,000 to $10,000, right? Just kind of playing with it. So for these, again, they're all sounds like rent ready. He's the way he's communicating it to me is they're all rent ready, livable condition, um, and those are right out of the gate. They have a new roof. They all have central AC. All the foundation issues have been resolved. So I'm thinking at most they're going to be like middle of the road, average rehab, with some of them being slightly less. I think with the upkeep that he's been doing to the properties. So that's why I'm taking it about 5 to 10,000 less than an average rehab. Because also a lot of the comps in the area, they're not crazy fix and flips, brand new everything. It's that kind of market where it seems like you can get away with doing an average rehab and still be able to fetch top of market. So the way that I recalculated today with those rehabs, I'm looking at offers of 135, 100, 96, 135, 73, 91 for the 6 properties, which totals 630,000. Again, he's looking to net 700,000. So at 630 though, I'm taking $20,000 assignment fee per property. So at 630, I'm looking at a $120,000 assignment fee if my math is correct, and there's a lot of moving parts with 6 different properties being in the mix here. So I could be just, slightly off on 5 of them, but then really off on the 6th, and then it's going to throw all the numbers off, right? So that's with me taking a $120,000 assignment fee. So essentially, I could agree to his 70,000 the way that my math is right now, 700,000, and be able to take down a $50,000 assignment fee. The way that my math is, again, the way that I've done the math. Now, the way that I'm looking at it is I do want, you know, at least $5,000 to move on each property, in terms of, maybe me estimating the rehab incorrectly on the smaller properties, and then up to like 10 to 15 on that bigger one. So that's going to put me at 525. Like I want like 35 to 40, call it $40,000, like wiggle room on that, just in case my numbers are incorrect. So if I still want to take down a $50,000 deal, uh, and I need it 40,000 less, I'm going to need to be at like 660 to be really confident. Um, 675 is like getting in the ballpark of, if I can make every single property work, I'll be able to take down a decent assignment fee. And then at 700, it's kind of like, uh, everything would have to be perfect. Everything would have to work out. I would have to find the perfect buyers for them. All of the conditions would have to be, just as good, if not better, than what I'm anticipating them to be. The sellers are cooperative, and all of them vacate within the 30-day timeline that he's going to give them. Just stuff like that. You know what I mean? So at 700,000, it could work, but I'm just going to try to see if I can get him to come down a little bit off of that, which I'm thinking that he would. Even if I can get him again down to like 675, that'll just give me a little bit more confidence and comfort to be able to move forward with a freak, man. But so I'm gonna shoot him a text right now. I'm gonna say, hey Jimmy, uh, hope you had a relaxing few weeks for the holidays. I'm back with you on rentals at Richmond, Rosenberg area. Hey Jimmy, hope you had a relaxing few weeks for the holidays. Wanted to run back with you on your rentals in the Richmond Rosenberg area. Had a chance to talk over with my partner, and the cash, getting you a cash offer for all of them is more attractive option for us. And let me speak on that a little bit more. So he again proposed 700,000, $50,000 down payment, carrying the loan of 650,000, the remainder of the principal at 8% interest, interest only payments for 36 months, and a 36-month term. So again, what essentially he's offering is a short-term, high interest loan, just like a hard money lender would offer. But when you get those type of loans, this is the way that I understand it. You don't want to be in those loans for any longer than like a year at most. Sounds like people want to get out within 6 months of those loans, which is why they're geared towards flippers. They can get in there, use the money, get as much money back as quickly as possible by doing the rehab and refinancing and getting a new loan on the property with much more attractive interest rates and terms. That way you can pay off your hard money lender and get out of that high interest loan as quickly as possible. It's kind of just like a tool. I mean, money is a tool regardless, but the hard money loan is, let me use this money to then get in and out of something where I can pay back that lender quick, because that interest rate is way higher than I'd be able to get on the market by just refinancing through a conventional loan or a traditional bank. Um, but with that, a hard money lender isn't going to even charge that much, because he's still asking for 50,000 down. So a hard money lender, based on my understanding, again, I've never gotten a hard money loan, but what I understand is they're going to charge, anywhere from 9 to 12% interest rate. So he is offering kind of an attractive interest rate, but then they're only going to charge like a few points, uh, meaning 1% of the loan up front, right? So like 5 points, I think is like really high. I think they're only going to, if depending on what type of relationship you have, they're only going to charge a few points, right? So what he's essentially saying is, um, $50,000 down on a $650,000 loan is like putting up close to 8 points and getting an interest rate of 8% and being attached to that loan for 3 years. So at the end of the day, he's gonna net another like $160,000 just by waiting 3 years to get paid. If I were to agree to those terms, that's what he's gonna exactly what's gonna happen is he's gonna get paid an extra $160,000 or something like that, just for taking the money over the course of 3 years. Now, what he's offering is interest only payments. So again, which is what a hard money lender would offer. That way you're not having to, there's margins there, monthly margins. So you're only owing him so much money. So if you were to get a tenant in there and cover the payments, you'd be able to cash flow a lot. But again, with such a high interest rate and him expecting a return within 3 years, puts it puts the buyer in a position to force appreciation onto the property. They don't have the option to just sit back and collect rent checks. They have to go in there and spend money to force appreciation to drive the cost of that home, that value of that home up by doing renovation to the property likely. That way when you do get it reappraised or appraised in the future or refinanced, the value is actually much higher, so that you have the ability to pay off that principal on the loan 3 years from now, right? It's not enough to just sit back, collect monthly cash flow on the rentals, and assume and hope that the market is going to appreciate in value over the next 3 years, so that when you do go to pay him off by either refinancing or selling the properties, that there's enough equity there to be able to pay him back. So it just wouldn't make much sense at that. I'm not gonna like go into detail in that text that I'm sending him right now, but it said, "Hey Jamie, hope you had a relaxed few weeks for the holidays. Wanted to run back with you on your rental." I can get into that if he wants over the phone, but I'm just gonna let him know that that's not really the route that we're wanting to take on these. I had a chance to talk it over with my partner, and getting you a cash offer for all of them is uh, the more attractive option for us. I can kind of briefly say, um, um, it may be it would be one thing if he wanted to do this and have us put no money down and just carry the whole loan. um that may be attractive, but with him still requesting 50,000 down, it's not really an attractive ask. So and I think he knows that. So I had a chance to talk it over with my partner, and getting you a cash offer for all of them is a more attractive option for us. I kind of want to transition this by saying why though. Like it just wouldn't make much sense for us to um I'm gonna say we would likely be getting a hard money loan with more attractive terms, um in order to pay you in all cash anyways. So we might as well just pay you all up front, right? That's kind of what the gist of it is I'm gonna go get, if I were the buyer, I'm gonna go get a hard money loan with more attractive rates than you're offering in order to pay you $700,000 cash. So I might as well just pay you 700,000 cash now, as opposed to, entering into an agreement with you that really isn't that attractive, and have to pay you an extra 160,000, essentially an extra 50,000 per year, just because you were the one who gave me the loan, right? I can go get another loan. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say here is I had a chance to talk it over with my partner, and getting you a cash offer for all of them is a more attractive option for us. Uh, um, I'm going to say we will likely be getting a hard money loan with similar rates in order to uh, make you a cash offer. Let's say I had a chance to talk it over with my partner, getting you a cash offer for all of them is a more attractive option for us since we will likely be getting a hard money loan to close on them anyway. No, I'm not going to say any of that. Is a more attractive option for us. Say, is there any wiggle room? Say, if we could get going on these ASAP and uh, get going on these ASAP and participate in. I hope you had a relaxed few weeks for the holidays. Wanted to run back with you on your rentals in the Richmond Rosenberg area. I had a chance to talk it over with my partner, and getting you a cash offer for all of them is the more attractive option for us. If we could get going on these ASAP and kind of figure out like what's important to him. Where did you get your SMS templates from, or did you just really come up with them yourself? I think I might have to put a new spin on mine. When I set my SMS campaigns up, I had purchased them or I signed up with the software through a referral program, kind of like an affiliate link. So there was already pre-templated responses built into it. But I definitely went through individually and put my own spin on all of them. And I continue to do so, especially now that I ran into that issue the other week with my number being flagged by the carriers because I had some blacklisted words in the scripts there. So you got to be careful with that as well. But yeah, I know a lot of people do it differently. Some people just simply say, "Hey, first name," because once they reply to you, then it's fair playing field. You can say whatever. It's just about that initial text that's going to get flagged by the carriers. That the carriers are really analyzing and dissecting that first text, where you send the text to them unsolicited, unwarranted. That's the one that they're really nitpicking. But once they reply to you, it's almost like the carriers look the other way and they don't really even care what you're talking about anymore because that person engaged with you. So now you can reply in that second text saying, "Hey, do you want to sell your house for cash? Sorry, I know this is out of the blue." All the blacklisted words. I probably would still shy away from those, but you can be a little bit more direct once they reply to you. So I know some people just say, "Hey, first name," which opens it up, and then you go into it. I'm a little bit more direct about it and kind of give them a general idea of why I'm texting them right in that first text just to get right to it. Just kind of however you want to do it, right? Do you have the marketing budget to be sending 2 texts per person in order to get the answer to your question, which is, do they want to sell their house? Do you have, what else was I going to say? Not only just, yeah, I mean, really, that's what it comes down to is what your marketing budget is and realizing how many texts you're going to be having to send to people in order to get the responses that you're looking for. Do you use REI Reply? Yes, I do. Going in on cold calling in Texas 2022. Yeah, I use REI Reply. Exactly. All right, I'm gonna finish this text. Hey Jimmy, hope you had a relaxing few weeks for the holidays. Wanted to run back with you on your rentals in the Richmond Rosenberg area. I had a chance to talk it over with my partner, and getting you a cash offer for all of them um, is I'm gonna say probably the more attractive option for us at this point. Uh, if we could, if we can get going on these ASAP, and like that's what I said. I'm trying to figure out what's important to him. Um, he said, it doesn't really matter whether or not it's cash. Um, he just doesn't want to drag his feet once it gets going. So that's kind of what I'm going to reference. Um, he's just trying to make it. I know he doesn't really care if it's fast, but smooth and quick and convenient is what I think is important to him. If we can get going on these ASAP and um, move with a bit of speed in order to get you paid sooner rather than later. Uh, is there any wiggle room on the cash price for asking uh, asking cash price? Does that make sense? Is there any wiggle room on the asking uh, on your cash on your cash? Is there any wiggle room on your cash price uh, if we were to buy all six? That's kind of I think that's good. If we can get going on these ASAP and move with a bit of speed in order to get you paid sooner rather than later, is there any wiggle room on your cash price if we were to buy all six? Sending it. Wish me luck. Tell them smooth and quick. Yeah, I just sent it. So hopefully he gets that. That's kind of what our conversation revolved around. It was really, the whole time he was telling me, it doesn't really matter to me. He's said he's not in a financial burden or he's not in a situation or circumstances do not require him to sell quick for cash. He has other rentals. He has multifamilies. He has um, commercial properties. He's just saying, hey, if you want to buy all six of my rentals, you know what? I think I might sell them because I'm kind of done with self-managing these six properties. Right? He was telling me how a lot of the tenants are really good, but there's one or two tenants here in out of the six that really give him a hard time. He's just done dealing with it. I think this guy was on my 60 plus years of age list. He doesn't sound like an older gentleman, but he could very well be 60 plus years. He's owned a lot of these properties for like 15, 20 years. So he's just kind of done with it. They're in decent shape right now too, in order to get kind of a higher cash offer. Whereas if he were to have let these go for another 3 to 5 years, they would have probably required a lot more renovation than what they require now. So they're all kind of middle of the road, average rehabs at most. So it's, in my opinion, now that I'm kind of analyzing it even deeper, probably the best time for him to sell these rentals if he's considering at all, right? That way, he doesn't have to go in there. He can sell them as is, and it's still attractive to a buyer. A lot of these, I would imagine that a cash buyer is just going to want to wholesale them, get in there, do a little bit of cleaning, possibly carpet and paint on some of these, and still be able to get a return if I can get him down to something a little bit lower than the 700 than what he's asking. So you know, I, I really, his response to this right here is going to determine, I think, whether or not this is going to be a deal that gets done. Again, I had offered him 550 to 575. He said no. We took a few days. He tried to figure out what exactly he would be expecting for the properties. He came back and said he wanted to net 700, which is about 116,000 per property. I'd like to be closer to about 105 per property, which is at 630. Again, 630, if my math is correct, would give me a huge assignment fee. So I'm willing to come off that, um, even by you know, like 50,000. I could probably go upwards of 680. He just needs to come off a little bit to give myself a little bit more confidence and to be quite honest, only because I don't want to mess with him. I don't want to, but I might just have to. Because these are six properties and I'm talking about buying them all and I don't want to screw with him, I don't want to lead him to believe that I'm going to be able to perform if I'm not confident that I can. And that's why I'd like to talk to him on the phone and I want to be able to articulate that and communicate that to him. Like, look, I might be able to do 700, but there's no guarantee that my confidence level just isn't through the roof at that figure. You know, if we're talking 630 to 650, I'm thinking that we can my confidence level is a little higher at that rate, and I'm thinking that we could, uh, you know, very likely get it done at that price point. Anything beyond 650, um, starting to get a little shaky. Obviously, I've never been inside the properties. Pretty confident that none of them are going to require a huge amount of work since that's what he was telling me. Um, but that's what's going on with this one. I just wanted to hop on real quick with you guys, and I was hoping to get him on the phone, but he didn't answer. Shot him a text. It's the first of the year, on a Saturday, so don't blame him if he doesn't text back. But he usually texts back. Every time I've texted him before, he's texted back. He hasn't failed me thus far. So, but he definitely seems like a busier guy. So, the last time I texted him, it took him, oh no, just 20 minutes to text back last time. So it's been 5 minutes since I sent out the text. What's up, Jared? Just hopped on. I tried to get a hold of the guy with the 6 properties. Just wanted to, maybe I had the urge to do it because it's the first of the year. I don't even know. He might be thinking, yeah, exactly. That's what I figured what happened the first time, Stefan, which is why he took 20 minutes. The idea was that he took the weekend to think about it. Maybe he did. Again, with text, you just never want to assume and jump to conclusions on anybody's situation. He could literally just be in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Or no, he didn't answer the phone. I called him on a different number. This was the first and the last guy who I called on my Google Voice number, and he goes, this number popped up as spam. It didn't matter much to him because we were already talking on. I talked to him on a different number, the number that I texted him off of. So I texted him a few times before he texted back, and then I called him off of that texting number while I was out driving. He answered. We had a very quick conversation. I don't think that he expected me to call him back because he was kind of just dismissing me, like, yeah, I'll sell them all. Yeah, they're in decent condition. Go Google Map, look it up on Google Maps. He wouldn't even tell me the addresses. He was like, just go look it up in public record. And then that's exactly what I did. I got home, looked up all the properties, comped all the properties, came up with an offer. And when I called him back, I think he was a little impressed at the fact that I even did all that. Uh, I was like, okay, let me run down these 6 properties to make sure that these are the ones that we're talking about. And he's like, yeah, those are them. Kind of shocked that I found them as quickly as I did. And I said, yeah, I looked at all of them on Google Maps. And he was like, oh wow. So I think I conveyed and was able to convince him that I was kind of about my business, um, which really is what led into this conversation unfolding the way that it has. But he, when I called him when I got home, I called him off my Google Voice number. And he's like, just let you know, this number popped up as spam. He's like, the last number that you called me off of didn't. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Kind of, it was a shock to me. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to change numbers. Like, well, I was like, you can contact me on either one of these numbers, but I'll likely be getting a new number. So that's why when I called him off a new number. He did tell me when we talked a few weeks ago that he gets calls and texts all the time about these properties. So I don't blame him for not answering. And that's why I wanted to just follow up with the text. We've been communicating through text the best. I've only ever really had a decently long, like 20-minute conversation with him on the phone a couple weeks ago. So keep you guys updated on this one. That's what's going on with that. Yeah, a few others. I really didn't intend on going crazy on like follow ups or reaching out or anything like that today, but uh, I just had the urge to reconnect with this guy to start the year off strong, probably. So keep your fingers crossed on this one. If he's able to come off of that 700 at all, again, to reiterate the numbers for an assignment fee, as for a cash offer, just to simply assign all of these at 700, which is his current asking price. If all of my numbers check out, if all of these properties need a semi light to average rehab, and I'm able to find a cash buyer who's willing to take like an average profit on all of these for a flip at 700,000, I would be looking at $50,000 assignment fee. Um, but I just want a little bit more wiggle room. I want about $40,000 room for my rehab estimates. and to make it attractive enough for a buyer, right? I'm also under the assumption that I'm not going to find somebody who's going to want to buy all six of these properties unless I connect with like a hedge fund or somebody who has relationships with a hedge fund. So I'm going into this with the assumption that I'm going to have to find six individual cash buyers for the properties. So, I still want it low enough where it's attractive, where I can find a buyer to raise their hand and confirm and put up earnest money within those first couple of weeks because the deal is so attractive, right? I don't want to have to hold on to these contracts, and then close on a few and then have another few drag out. I'm sure there's no predicting whether or not that's going to happen or not, because the tenants may be uncooperative. Some title issues may pop up on a couple of the properties and not the others. So there's no predicting that, but I still want to get it. All starts with the price, right? It all starts with the contract price. And if it's attractive enough, if there's title issues, the cash buyers still may want it, right? Or if the tenants don't vacate and the price is still attractive enough to a buyer, they'll still buy it with the tenant in place. So that's what I want. That's why I want to create that little bit of a margin. Um, for any unforeseen stuff, title issues, tenant cooperation, and any unforeseen like rehab estimates that I'm missing out on, or just not at understanding of the true condition of these properties. So I want about a $40,000 buffer there. So if I still wanted a $50,000 assignment fee, um, where would I have to be for that? 50 right now. I'm looking at. I'd have to be like 660. 660 is really what I'm hoping to be at, which is about 110 per property. That's where I want to end up. And he is again, what's he asking? 116 per property. 116. So I need them to come off. Yeah, about 5 to 10. Hopefully about 10,000 per property. Anyways, that's that. I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you in the loop. Keep you updated. Until then, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Tell your friends. And wish me luck. I'm gonna share this Discord with you guys right now too. Is anybody in here still ready for the Discord? Like I said, not done by any means, but somewhat set up just so you guys can start getting in here. Oh, there's no like. Let me see if. Oh, I'm gonna drop it in. Well, maybe I'll be able to copy and paste it. Anyways, I'll get this in the description of my videos moving forward. But it's not built out by any means, but just so that you guys can start getting in there. Just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and it's clickable too. So go check it out. Go check it out. Hop in there with me. Figure out how we can start building this out. I want to get, maybe my scripts in there. I just referenced the like blacklisted words that you want to avoid for texting. I can get those up in there, stuff like that. And a little voice channel in case anybody wants to hop in there and connect when they're cold calling or do some cold call role plays, whatever the case is. I think that'd be cool to get set up. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you hopping in here. Appreciate you guys all keeping your fingers crossed for this lead here, and I'll keep you updated. Like I said, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell if you haven't already, and I will see you on Monday, possibly. If not Monday, then Wednesday. Maybe Thursday. To be honest, I might take a little bit of a hiatus. Not to say that I'm not going to be working, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to squeeze in time to hop on here live, but I'm gonna try my best. So until then, till the next one, peace.